Guys, Eric West here, HawaiiRealEstate.org. Shaka bra. How's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day here on Maui. And it's a beautiful day here every day. That's the reason I think we come here, is the never-ending summer, the beautiful weather, the surf that's almost always doing something. Big swell coming this weekend, yes sir. So the reason I'm posting this video right now for you today, right here, is because this is what I'm standing on right here, is prime Lahaina land for sale. Right across from Baby Beach, literally. And the family that owns this land, they want to sell it. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell this land right here in Lahaina to the next privileged, trusted steward that I believe God has preordained to own this piece of land right here in Lahaina. I truly believe that. I believe real estate is all about destiny. Unfortunately, what happened here in Lahaina, I don't think was part of God's destiny plan for this town. Unfortunately, things happen on earth that we don't like. But the good news is that we can move forward and make the best of it. And it doesn't get any better, in my opinion, than land in Lahaina. Lahaina is the cradle of aloha. It was the capital for the Hawaiian people, Hawaiian kingdom, and it's where they vacationed, and it's one of the absolute best places, I think, on planet Earth. And this is a great lot. So there's going to be a link in the description, which is lahainalandforsale.com. You can check out all the details, the asking price, the size, basically ready to build on. It's been leveled, it's been graveled. There's utilities right at the street that you can bring in. I think the water meter still needs to be installed. And look at the view here, check this out. You're right here at the base of the beautiful West Maui Mountains, Mauna Kahalavai. There you've got the Lahaina Luna El. Go Lunas, Lunas forever. Right there. It doesn't get any more quintessential than that. And that, of course, is where all those rainbows spawn. Not every day, but pretty close. So you have mountain views and, of course, there you go, a Buddha. One of the biggest Buddhas, I think, on Maui. So we're right next to the mission there, which of course is gone, unfortunately. And then this is right across the street from the ocean. So 1180, this is 1184, 1181 is right there across the street, obviously. It has not been, and I think that property there just sold before the fire for like $8 million. Crazy, right? So on that note, I want to just quickly address a topic, and I'd love to have your opinion in the description, in the comments, I should say. I love your opinion in the description. I love your opinion in the comments. One of the things you'll see, one of the sentiments that certain organizations are trying to put out into the ether, into the realm, in the public realm, is this concept of Lahaina is not for sale. Like, it's not for sale. Okay, well, just let's review that concept for just a moment. Lahaina was owned by individual property owners. We have individual property ownership rights in this country called the United States of America. And if someone owns a property like this one and they want to sell it, and it happens to be in Lahaina, that's okay. That's totally legal. Matter of fact, it's necessary for a lot of these families to survive because of the financial strangulation of this government that is causing this massive slowdown and not issuing permits. For example, just take the one across the street. Is it 1181? Imagine you just bought that property for $8 million or 7 and change, whatever. That was hard-earned money that you earned in your life. You bought a fee simple property on the ocean. There's no sin. It's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Well, now guess what? Imagine the guy, I don't know if he had a loan or not, but imagine if the guy had a loan. He's still making payments and he can't get a permit to rebuild his property. That's his property on the ocean. But it's being demonized by organizations here. I won't mention any names, Lahaina Strong. And the interesting thing is that the land part or the land program that they're endorsing is actually a leasehold. And just like Hawaiian homelands, they don't actually give the land to the Hawaiian people, they give them a leasehold, which isn't, you don't own anything. Fee simple is when you actually own it. And there's a program that Lahaina Strong is pushing that doesn't actually give the landowner a fee simple interest. It gives them a leasehold interest. It's kind of BS. So anyway, long story short, I just want to address the issue that this whole idea that Lahaina is not for sale is actually a socialistic mentality, which is, oh, let's bring the land and give it to the government, essentially, because private property owners, rich people from the mainland, they can't own stuff. Well, guess what? This property here was an original Lahaina family. So this is not what you might think it is. This is literally a piece of beautiful land that the family has been here for generations, and they need to sell it. And that's okay, and that's legal, and it shouldn't be propagandized otherwise and make people feel uncomfortable, when in reality it's the government that is trying to usurp private property rights for people that are right on the ocean. Now the good news, this parcel is not right on the ocean, it's across the street from the ocean, so you can build something right here. You can get a permit right now. But unfortunately, those people on the ocean and commercial property owners have not been able to do so. So I'm hoping that changes. But in the meantime, if you're interested, please check the link in the description, lahainalandforsale.com. I'd love your opinion on Lahaina's not for sale for families that need to sell for their own financial survival. And these are deeded, fee simple properties that is well within their rights as property owners that bought these properties, paid taxes on these properties, and they own these properties. They have the right to sell them. Just like you have the right to sell anything that you own in this country or pretty much anywhere in the world. If you own it, you can sell it, and it shouldn't be demonized, and people shouldn't be led to think otherwise. So hopefully these nonsensical sentiments will go away. We'll get back to doing business the way it's always been done, and it's okay. And not everybody, nobody should be discriminated against in any way, shape, or form. Nobody. Whether you're rich, poor, haole, local, Asian, whatever. We're all God's children. We're all citizens of the earth for a short period of time. And then we go to the next realm. But let me tell you what, this realm is about the closest I think you'll get to heaven on earth. So thank you so much. There's not much to show. Obviously, it's a canvas. It is your canvas to put your beautiful home, should you choose to purchase this piece of beautiful land. You'll have views of the ocean. Second story, I can only imagine what that would be like. And no HOAs, it's a dead-end road, right? Dead ends right there. And the home that was here before was almost 4,000 square feet, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. That's what the home was. And then over here, you have where there was an ohana. There was an ohana right here. I never visited this property when it was standing, but I can't wait to see the next chapter. Now, just to give you an example, real quick, and then I'm going to hit the road. I got to go to my next appointment, and this Lahaina sun is feeling amazing right now. The smell of the ocean, I can almost smell the salt air. Look at this beautiful pink bougainvilleas. You can see the property was at one point, it still is gated. I just don't think the gate works anymore. Here's the address, 1184. But you see the neighbor here, he has his water meter installed, and you can see all the fresh new plumbing right there. And then the guy across the street, someone needs to report that his new meter has sprung a leak. Oh, that Maui craftsmanship. You can see here where they dug up the water lines. But if you want to get to the ocean from this property real quick, I'm going to show you the access. Again, if you're just joining the live, thank you so much. LahainaLandForSale.com. We have a lot for sale here on Halipaka, right next to these beautiful oceanfront parcels. You might have an ocean view forever, because I don't think the government is going to let these oceanfront homeowners rebuild anytime soon. But if you have an opinion on that, you could certainly reach out to the mayor's office, to the county planning office, and let them know your thoughts. I think they ought to start hearing from citizens of the world. What do you think? Could our oceanfront landowners get a little moral support from people around the world? I think they could. They could use it right now, because the paid for activists are definitely showing up in numbers, banning pools in Lahaina, banning any kind of repairs to seawalls. They're very well funded, these individuals, and they have an agenda. And it's not in alignment with the property rights that you are granted as a fee simple owner in this country. So there you are, Baby Beach. And of course, Baby Beach wouldn't be complete without some kiddos having a good time. So if you've got kiddos in your family, this is a great place to bring them. This, of course, is Pu'unoa Estates. Thankfully, those didn't suffer any damage. And then, of course, you can see we're just a little bit north of Lahaina town. See if I can get you a shot here of Fleetwoods. There's Fleetwoods right there on Front Street. So in the comments, I'd love your opinion. What's your opinion of Lahaina is not for sale? What's your opinion of Lahaina Strong? What's your opinion of oceanfront homeowners not being able to rebuild and getting plenty stink eye from paid for activists about wanting to rebuild their homes? And nothing's happening. What's your opinion on Front Street business owners being able to rebuild their commercial businesses? I know of business owners right now, literally, that are shouldering massive debt on their property. They have debt on their property that was not paid off with insurance, and they don't want to lose their property to the bank. So the only way that they can not lose their property to the bank is they have to continue to service the debt that's on their property, and they have no business that they can reopen to help make money. And a lot of those debts were refinanced right after the fire, but very short windows, like 2-3 years, thinking, oh yeah, in 2 to 3 years, you should be back in business. You should be rebuilt. Well, they're jumbo loans. They have balloon payments that are coming up. So imagine you have a $4 or $5 million debt on your business on Front Street, and you've been servicing that debt every single month for 50 to 100K, and there's no end in sight to being able to get a permit to rebuild your business. So you can't make your payment, or you got to come up with $4 or $5 million to pay off the loan. You don't have that. And then ultimately, who gets the property? The bank does. So the part of Lahaina is not for sale is Lahaina should not be foreclosed. Lahaina should not be given to the government. Lahaina should not be put into some kind of program that gives people a leasehold interest in the property, because that's BS. And the rhetoric, the propaganda, the lies, and for some reason, it's those organizations that the mainstream media hands the microphone to every single time. And why is that? I don't know. But the only way the truth can come out is if the people that speak the truth and express their truth, and let the people in power know, hey, calling you out, this isn't right. Allow the people to rebuild their homes on the ocean. Allow the businesses on Front Street to rebuild their businesses, and stop choking. Stop financially choking the people of Lahaina. That's the real message. Not Lahaina's not for sale. If they don't want to sell, it's not for sale. But if they want to sell, it's for sale. And guess what? What the government is doing to people is forcing them to sell. So you say Lahaina's not for sale. Well, really? Well, the government is doing things that is making people have to sell. So they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. And that's not right. So love to hear from you in the comments. If you have an interest in this property, please look at the link in the description, LahainaLandForSale.com. And please reach out to the council, to the mayor's office, to the planning office. You can go to the website, you can click, you can send an email, you can make a phone call. It's no big deal. It would take 10 minutes of your time. Let them know, how do you feel about private property rights in this country? And last time I checked, hang on a second, let me check, call Trump. Is Maui in the United States? Yes, it is. Is Hawaii the 50th state? Yes, it is. Did Japan attack Pearl Harbor and people died protecting these islands that were Americans, and Americans from all different nationalities. Yes, it is. And Maui is that soil right here that I'm standing on. It's US soil. And we have laws, we have the rule of law, and we shouldn't allow these propagandist, left-wing, paid-for activist organizations influence the narrative, influence public policy, which then chokes out the people and forces them to sell, because that's what's happening. So your voice needs to be heard. Thank you so much for making your voice heard. Thank you for thumbing up. Thank you for shocking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for putting this on your X, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook to share the message of what's actually going on here. Because the truth, as you know these days, is hard to find. Much aloha. Until next time. Eric West out.